So in this week's video, we're going to be taking a look at what to do if you have to still see your ex on a regular basis after you've broke up. Roll VT. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Andy O'Neill. I'm a life coach who specialises in breakups, breakup recovery and self-esteem. I release videos every single week, so if them subjects are interesting for you, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already. So I've had a few comments recently on a few videos and I've had a couple of direct messages as well, all about the same thing. What do you do if you have to still see your ex on a regular basis after the breakup? So for those of you who know this channel already, you know I've talked about going no contact, right? So no contact isn't about what some of these get your ex back gurus talk about how to go no contact and then reinitiate contact and then prove to your ex you've changed, all designed to get your ex back. Nothing to do with that. No contact is designed to help you heal, break the connection with your ex and move on. But if you've got to see your ex on a regular basis, then clearly that makes it difficult. So what situations might arise where you've got to see your ex regular? Well, maybe you've got kids together, so you need to have regular contact over the children. Or maybe you work together, so you see them every single day. Or maybe you just live in a small town and there's no way you're not going to bump into each other. How do you approach it? What do you do? But what I can say is I've got experience of a few of those. So first of all, I've broke up with somebody who I've got children with, and I broke up with someone who I worked with. So in each of those scenarios, I had to continue to see them after the breakup. Now, if you're struggling after the breakup, if you're sat there wanting to get your ex back, the last thing you really need for your progress is to see them every day. But sometimes, like in those situations, it can't be helped. So what do you do about it? Well, the first thing to say is, no matter what the situation is, do you really need to have them on your social media? So for instance, if you've got kids together, you need to maintain contact, yeah? There needs to be a way that you can contact each other for emergencies, to discuss decisions about the children, etc. But is that really done through Facebook or Instagram or any of these other platforms? No, it's not. If you've still got your ex on those platforms, why? What is the reason for having them there? The only reason you've got them on there is so you can spy on them, so you can see what they're up to. That's not doing you any favours. So the first thing to say is, delete them off social media. Yeah, if you've got kids, you need to maintain contact. You need to have a way of contacting each other, whether it's email or preferably a phone so you can text each other if an emergency arises. But other than that, you shouldn't need to have them on socials. You shouldn't need to see what they're getting up to on a Friday night while you've got the kids. It's nothing to do with you and it's not going to help you heal. Because let's be honest, right? Social media doesn't portray a true picture of somebody's life. It just doesn't. Predominantly, we only post stuff on there that we want the world to see. It's the best aspects of our life. For instance, and I've used this example before, but let's say you went on holiday for 7 days, right, to some country in Europe or whatever, and for 6 of those days, it completely pissed down. Just like it is now, you can probably hear it on the mic, it's pouring down. But it completely pissed down for 6 days. And for those 6 days, you couldn't go anywhere or do anything. You just sat in your hotel, miserable, wishing that the sun had come out. But then on one of those days, it stopped raining. Sun come out, it was clear blue skies. You head down to the beach, you swim in the ocean, you have a great day. When you get home, what pictures are you going to post on Facebook, on Instagram, on wherever? You're only going to post pictures of that one day where it was clear blue skies and sunshine, you had a great day. So for anyone else looking at your social media, they'll go, wow, they've had a great holiday. Look at all the stuff that they got up to. When actually, 6 days of it was a write-off. That sums up social media. We only put the best of ourselves on there. So if you've got your ex still on social media, they are only going to post the good stuff. So if they go out for a night out or they go for a day out or they're spending time with friends, whatever, you're only going to see the best of it. And that's just going to mess with your mind. The other problem is if they don't post at all, because that in some instances can be even worse, because then that leaves you wondering, well, what are they doing? They've not posted an update. They've not posted for a week. Where are they? What are they doing? And then that becomes your own worst enemy, because you will imagine all sorts of scenarios about where they've gone, what they're doing, who they're with. That can be torture. The best thing to do is eliminate all of that by taking them completely off your socials. Yes, you've still got to see them because of the kids. Yes, you've still got to see them because of work, whatever. But you can still reduce it by taking them off your socials. So if you do work with them, you see them in work during working hours. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need to know what they're doing outside of that. It's only going to mess with your mind. So get them off your socials as a starter. Now, the rest of it is all down to perception. That's what it comes down to. It's your perception of what that contact actually means. So for instance, let's take the example of you've got to work with them. So you've got to go into work every day and see them. If every single day you go into work and all you're thinking is, oh my God, I'm going to see my ex, oh my God, I'm going to see my ex, and I want them so bad, and I want them back so bad, and I'm going to look at them and, oh God, look at how good they look, they're dressed so nice, and all this kind of stuff. That is a negative perception. You've gone in there expecting that by seeing them, it's going to make you feel bad. That's what you've done. You've created that, because life is all about our reactions. It's not about what goes on around us, because we can't control that. It's about how we interpret it, how we perceive it. So when you do go in work and you see your ex, you can go in with the attitude of, this is going to wreck my head. I'm going to see and I'm going to want him so bad, and I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because of it. You can go in with that attitude, and that's exactly what's going to happen, because you're creating that. You're creating that scenario in your head. You're creating that reaction. You've brought it on. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be easy, but you can change that perception, because that's what I did. So you can now look at that interaction every day and you can go, right, okay, I'm not going to look at it from that angle. I'm going to look at this as a challenge, right? I've got a challenge in front of me. I'm going to see my ex and I want my ex. There's no escaping that. That's how you feel. So what I'm going to do is prove to myself that I don't need them. So instead of going in and sit there in pain and looking at them thinking, oh God, I want them so bad, and then going home and crying to yourself, you can go in there and go, right, well, I've got two options here. Either I go over to them again now and start begging to have them back, or I can prove to myself I don't need them. And I'm going to just sit there. I'm going to play it cool. I'm going to get through the day. But the important thing is, after you've done that, when you get home, you have to recognize that it's an achievement. You have to acknowledge the fact that you've just faced something really tough and you've got through it. So you're now setting it as a goal rather than a chore. The chore is, I've got to go in, I've got to see my ex again. The goal is, right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to see my ex, and I ain't going to let it bother me, and I'm going to get through the day. And every time you do that, you see it as an achievement. And when you do that, you'll recognize it as an achievement. You'll start seeing it in a whole new light. You'll see it in a positive light rather than negative. Look at how far I've come. Look at how well I'm doing. I'm facing my ex on a daily basis and I ain't letting it affect me anymore. I'm getting through the day. I'm getting home. I'm achieving things. That is an entirely different attitude than, oh my God, I can't believe I've got to go and see him again. I'm not going to be able to take it. I'm going to be crying all night. My stomach's upside down. You might have all those feelings at first. Of course you will. But if you start changing it, changing your perception, you'll start seeing it differently. That's what I did. I had to look at it as a challenge. This is a goal I'm now setting myself. So that's the second thing to do. So we've took them off social media and you're going to start looking at it from a different light. The perception is going to start changing on what that interaction is. It's no longer a chore, it's a goal. Now the third thing is, I want you to develop a mantra. Now hear me out right, because you're going to be like, a mantra, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about by a mantra is just something you tell yourself after every interaction with your ex. So every time you've seen them in work, every time you've seen them around town, every time you see them when you're picking the kids up and dropping the kids off, you say a mantra to yourself. Now that mantra can be anything. So it could be something like, I'm free to do whatever I want. And you start using it, right? So you could have a scenario where you're dropping your kids off at your ex's, you can't bear to see them, but you do, get you feeling all sick inside and anxious and, oh God, I want them so bad. But then you tell yourself, I'm free to do whatever I want. And it's a reminder that you're now free. You can go and do whatever you want right now. Whatever you decide to do, your decision. Nobody else's but yours. You're free to do it. Because what's happening is, it's all about a perception again, isn't it? The perception is, oh my God, I want them back so bad and my life's terrible and oh, I'm never going to get over this. You're switching it into a positive. All right, I'm not with them anymore, so I'm now free to go and do whatever I want. Now, I'm not saying that has to be your mantra, but develop something along those lines which helps you look at the situation from a different angle. How can you look at it in a positive angle? And if you start switching it that way, you'll start seeing it that way. And eventually, that fear you've got at the moment of, oh, I've got to see them all the time, will start dropping, until eventually you'll become so stoic about the situation, won't even cross your mind. You'll drop them off without thinking, yeah, nice one, see you next week, blah, blah, blah. And away you go. Job done. Trust me when I say, developing that mantra helps you to look at it from a different angle and change that perception in your head. Now look, I'm not saying that this stuff is easy. Of course it's not. In an ideal world, if you're trying to get over your ex, you want to move on and not have to see them or hear from them again. Of course. But I've been through it twice. And both times I got through it and got over it. It was hard. I had some difficult moments, but I did it. So to recap, 1, take them off social media. You don't need to be seeing what they're doing in their personal life. 2, set it as a goal. Every interaction is a goal to prove to yourself that you're strong enough to get through this and recognize that achievement afterwards. And 3, develop a mantra that you say to yourself over and over again after every interaction. And eventually, by doing all 3 of those, that desire to have your ex, that fear you've got of seeing them because you're going to want them so much, will start to diminish. And over time, it'll go completely. Now, I'm going to leave you with 2 quick things, right? Firstly, I've got through this situation twice. Like I say, split up with somebody who I've got children to, and I split up with somebody who I worked with. So in both scenarios, I had to still see them almost on a daily basis. Now, I'm a life coach, right? And I specialise in breakups and breakup recovery and self-esteem, and I'm fully qualified to do it. But I wasn't back then. I didn't know all the stuff I know now back then, but I still got through it. I still survived it and learned from it. So if I can do it, then you can do it. I'm living proof that you can get through this and get over your ex, even if you've still got to see him. And 2, I'll give 1 example. I mentioned that I broke up with somebody and I had to work with them still, right? So this is somebody I was with for a good few years. We're practically living together and we split up, and almost overnight, I'd gone from being in this full-blown relationship with somebody, living with them, to every day going into work, seeing them and just passing and going, morning, morning. Gone from all of that to just saying good morning, and that was it. As though we were 2 strangers, as though we were just simple work colleagues. And let me tell you now, that fucking hurt, right? It did. It was destroying me inside. I'm big enough to admit it. It was. So every single day, I'd paint my fake smile on, head off into work, wish her good morning, pretend everything was all right in the world, act the class clown, because that's what I did. But inside, I was dying. And every night, I'd leave work and go home, I'd lock myself in my room, and I'd just cry myself to sleep. And at that time, I thought I was weak. I thought, I'm not a real man. I've got no strength, no confidence. I'm just a weak person. Not a real man, just weak. But now I look back and I realise I wasn't weak. That period was when I was at my strongest. That's when I showed my strength. Because despite the pain I was feeling inside, I survived it. I got through it and I carried on. And I just wanted to add that in, because if you are struggling right now, if you are having to see your ex and you just can't get over them and you just don't know what to do and you're feeling weak and you think, I shouldn't be feeling like this, you're not weak, you're strong. I spoke to friends years later and told them that story and said, I had to go in every day and see her. And they used to say to me, I don't know how you coped with that. I couldn't have done that. And that's when I started thinking, yeah, I was strong, man. I wasn't weak, I was strong. And you are too. So if you've got to see your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend on a regular basis, that's hard. Give yourself some credit. I know it's hurting. I know that you're feeling pain, but it's still an achievement. You're still getting through the day. You haven't given up. And don't give up, because there will be light at the end of the tunnel. You will get through this. You won't feel the way you are forever. I promise you, because I didn't. And like I said to you earlier, I'm nothing special. So look, if you're in that position right now where you've split up with your ex, you're heartbroken, but you've still got to see them on a regular basis, then put those 3 things into practice. Delete them off your socials. Now you might think, what will they think? Who cares? This is about you. It's not about your ex. You've got to start putting you first. Delete them off the socials. Set yourself a goal. Every time you've got to see them, see it as a goal. See it as an achievement. And then 3rd one, develop a mantra. What you're going to tell yourself after you've seen them, to flip it around and make it into a positive. Write your mantra out. Do them 3 things, and I promise you, over time, things will get easier. And when they do, come back to me and let me know, because I'd love to know how you're getting on. And if you've got any other questions or ideas of what you want me to talk about in videos, make sure you leave it in the comments or send me a DM. Right, That's me. I'm done. I'm out of here. It's pissing down with rain and I need to go and put the heating on. I hope you enjoyed that video. And like I say, if you've got any ideas for any others, let me know. Other than that, like, share, subscribe. I think that's what they say on YouTube, right? Do all that stuff anyway. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Laters.